And finally, the next brick to drop on UK economy. Housing bubble deflates. Wolf Richter, wolfstreet.com. We've been waiting for this. Been telling you about this for a little while now. Guys, everything I study says housing market is going down. Webbot says it. Martin Armstrong's unbelievable crazy long cycle, which goes to 2032, the year. Housing specifically. Whoa. No recovery. Any kind of distance out in the future. But prices apparently should be falling and falling and falling and falling and falling. London home prices are already tanking as demand sags. The symbiotic sectors of construction and real estate have been a vital engine of economic growth in the United Kingdom for decades. That could be about to come to an end. In the words of Paul Smith, the chief executive of the UK's largest independent lettings and real estate agency, Hart, unaffordability in the UK's property market is now reaching crisis point. If drastic measures are not taken to tame prices, the UK could lose its place as a property-owning democracy, he has warned. The latest figures published by the Office for National Statistics, or ONS, reveal that the average cost of a home jumped by 10,000. Would that be euros or pounds? No. The Brexit euros. In June from a year earlier to 223,000. In the last 8 years, prices have surged by almost 50%. Its national house price index is now 18% higher than during the peak of the prior housing bubble, September 2007. This chart, which I'll go ahead and share with you, why not? This chart is for the UK overall, but home prices in London have now turned the other way. Turn the other cheek? Nope, not quite. Just turn the other way. Demand is already sagging. In the first 6 months of 2017 alone, first-time buyer registrations dropped by almost 20% across Hart branches. It seems that a trend that began in London is now going nationwide. For well over a decade, soaring property prices have priced most Londoners out of the market. The number of homeowners in London in the 25 to 29-year age bracket has dropped more than 50% since 1990. That's not a good-looking stat, now is it? Foreign buyers have virtually cornered the market, acquiring as much as 3/4 of all new build housing in the capital in recent years. Once again, same story with Canada. We had the Chinese coming in there, had the Chinese coming in America, buying up a bunch of property. In pricing, in many cases, the locals out, which is incredible. Talk about a national security issue. Where were they on that one? But even foreign buyers have begun to pull back from the London property market. In April this year, values in the prime central London market were already 13% below their 2014 peak, according to Lucian Cook, head of residential research at Savills. About that. Latest figures from the ONS suggest that things may be even worse, as average property prices in London plunged 20% in the first 6 months of 2017, making it the worst performing region across the country. Now, property prices beyond London's gilded streets appear to be catching up with the trend. According to the UK's biggest estate agency group, Countrywide, hope that isn't the Countrywide that Bank of America bought up all those years ago, another branch. Oh boy. Prices will rise just 1.5% across the UK as a whole in 2017, down from 5% in 2016. Growth is expected to slow in areas such as the north of England, the Midlands, London, and the south. The main factors driving this trend include changes to UK stamp duty, as well as international buyers' increased exposure to capital gains tax and inheritance tax, leading to more reluctance in taking advantage of the weaker sterling. A recent survey by the Royal Institute of Chartered Surveyors found house price indicators at their weakest point since 2013. There is a silver lining for the sector, though. The new builds market, which, underpinned by low borrowing rates and lavish government subsidies, continues to grow at a fair clip, but even here, the shadows are looming. The practice of selling homes with a leasehold and the government's Help to Buy scheme, by which taxpayers help developers sell new build homes to first-time buyers, are both under the spotlight. So once again, the government has to step in and pump something up, help out, or else the whole damn thing would collapse. And once again, you're not a first home buyer. You don't count. You're not a first home buyer. But I'm paying for it. I'm a taxpayer. Can I get the same deal? No. Only the first time home buyers, because they're not saving. They don't have any money. Almost nobody has $1,000 in their bank account. Second under that, almost nobody nobody has $500 in their bank account. So they certainly don't have 10% to put down on a $200,000, $300,000 house, $20,000, $30,000. So we got to help out. Excuse me, you got to help out. And you don't qualify because you already got a house. And by us doing that is still allowing these prices to stay high. If we would let the market correct itself and stop intervening in everything, prices would come crashing down, quite possibly to where they need to be. Yeah, your $300,000 house actually isn't $300,000. It's worth $150,000. In the second half of the 20th century, most houses in the UK were built as freeholds, where a buyer would take ownership of the home itself as well as the land it sits on. Then, at the turn of the century, developers and landlords identified a lucrative new revenue stream: selling houses and flats under leasehold agreements, then selling the freeholds to the land to other investors, who can earn up to 10% of the purchase price annually. Thank goodness this crap isn't in America. And I thought, there are some bad things here for sure. But holy crap. Can you imagine paying a mortgage? Hey, I paid my house off, man. It's mine. No, it's not. Someone owns the land that your house is on, and they're going to up the rates on you. Oh, and also, you don't pay your property taxes. The county's going to come get your house. Well, at least we only had to worry about the county side. The county will repo take the thing and sell it off for tax money owed. But at least I didn't have some jabroni raising the rates on me on the land itself, so he can make his 10, 15, 20%, whatever he decides to make on it. What the hell is this? It was a good deal for all involved, until the homeowners and the wider British public began realizing just how abusive the scheme has become. The average charge now stands at $371 a year on new builds, and $371 and $327 on other properties, according to research by Direct Line for Business. Sometimes it can be a lot higher. As many as 100,000 UK households are now trapped in unsellable leasehold properties with sharply escalating ground rents. In recent weeks, the UK, their biggest selling tabloid newspaper, The Sun, joined the backlash, attacking the fat cat CEOs of builders that have racked up huge profits by selling freeholds on new houses to investment firms without properly informing the new homeowners. Many of the senior executives are living in substantial houses built by the companies they manage. All of them freeholds. In the face of growing public pressure, the UK government has vowed that it will outlaw leaseholds on new build houses, while drastically restricting ground rents for apartments to a peppercorn value, thus wiping out their financial appeal for speculative buyers. Even before that happens, lenders such as Nationwide and Santander have already announced they are not going to lend on toxic leasehold properties. So in other words, you have a beautiful house, beautiful land, but it's a leasehold. You're stuck. Nobody can get a mortgage on your house to buy it from you because they said, oh, it's on a leasehold. Sorry. So now, the homeowner, the taxpayer, you're screwed again. Screwed again. As my buddy Frank at work, as Frank's grandpa used to tell him, or would say when he was upset about something, screw. If the government follows through on its pledge to outlaw leaseholds without leaving a trail of gaping loopholes for developers and investors to exploit, as it did in the 1987 law ostensibly aimed at protecting homeowner, developers, and investors, are almost certain to lose an important source of revenue, just at a time that the UK's property market is showing signs of strain. Sliding prices are good news for aspiring homeowners that might eventually get the chance they've been waiting for to buy their first house. But for the UK economy, which has grown both rich and dependent on the false promise of ever-rising house prices, then again, so that goes to all of us, fueled by ever larger amounts of debt, also goes to all of us, the current trends are most definitely not its friend. Just like the rest of us, same thing applies. Even significant economic damage is a price worth paying for many Britons. Businesses are not so sure. Read, support for hard Brexit in the UK hardens. So, that's it. Off to go watch this fight. Can't wait to see it. Take care.